Hey guys, Lord Naren White here, the Holy Ghost, the one true God, back with you with the next video in my series reading Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. Without further ado, returning to Oliver Twist as read by Lord Naren White. That Oliver Twist was moved to resignation by the example of these good people, I cannot, although I am his biographer, undertake to affirm with any degree of confidence. But I can most distinctly say that for many months he continued meekly to submit to the domination and ill treatment of Noah Claypool, who used him far worse than before, now that his jealousy was roused by seeing the new boy promoted to the black stick and hat-band, while he, the old one, remained stationary in the muffin cap and leathers. Charlotte treated him ill because Noah did, and Mrs. Sowerberry was his decided enemy because Mr. Sowerberry was disposed to be his friend. So, between these three on one side and a glut of funerals on the other, Oliver was not altogether as comfortable as the hungry pig was when he was shut up, by mistake, in the grain department of a brewery. And now I come to a very important passage in Oliver's history, for I have to record an act, slight and unimportant perhaps in appearance, but which indirectly produced a material change in all his future prospects and proceedings. One day Oliver and Noah had descended into the kitchen at the usual dinner hour, to the banquet upon a small joint of mutton, a pound and a half of the worst end of the neck. When Charlotte being called out of the way, there ensued a brief interval of time, which Noah Claypool, being hungry and vicious, considered he could not possibly devote to a worthier purpose than aggravating and tantalizing young Oliver Twist. Intent upon this innocent amusement, Noah put his feet on the tablecloth, and pulled Oliver's hair, and twitched his ears, and expressed his opinion that he was a sneak, and furthermore announced his intention of coming to see him hanged, whenever that desirable event should take place, and entered upon various topics of petty annoyance, like a malicious and ill-conditioned charity boy as he was. But making Oliver cry, Noah attempted to be more facetious still, and in his attempt did what many sometimes do to this day. When they want to be funny, he got rather personal. "Workus," said Noah. "How's your mother?" "She's dead," replied Oliver. "Don't you say anything about her to me." Oliver's color rose as he said this. He breathed quickly, and there was a curious working of the mouth and nostrils, which Mr. Claypool thought must be the immediate precursor of a violent fit of crying. Under this impression he returned to the charge. "What did she die of, Workus?" said Noah. "Of a broken heart. Some of our old nurses told me," replied Oliver, more as if he were talking to himself than answering Noah. "I think I know what it must be to die of that." "Told her all, right full Larry, Workus," said Noah, as a tear rolled down Oliver's cheek. "What set you a-sniveling now?" "Not you," replied Oliver sharply. "There, that's enough. Don't say anything more to me about her. You'd better not." "Better not," exclaimed Noah. "Well, better not. Workus, don't be impudent. Your mother, too. She was a nice one, she was. Oh, Lord." And here Noah nodded his head expressively, and curled up as much of his small red nose as muscular action could collect together for the occasion. "You know, Workus," continued Noah, emboldened by Oliver's silence, and speaking in a jerking tone of affected pity, of all tones the most annoying. "You know, Workus, it can't be helped now. And of course, you couldn't help it then. And I am very sorry for it. And I am sure we all are. And pity you very much. But you must know, Workus, your mother was a regular right down bad 'un." "What did you say?" inquired Oliver, looking up very quickly. "A regular right down bad 'un, Workus," replied Noah coolly. "And it's a great deal better, Workus, that she died when she died, or else she'd have been hard laboring in Bridewell, or transported or hung, which is more likely than either, isn't it?" Crimson with fury, Oliver started up, overthrew the chair and table, seized Noah by the throat, shook him in the violence of his rage, till his teeth chattered in his head, and, collecting his whole force into one heavy blow, felled him to the ground. A minute ago, the boy looked like the quiet child, mild, dejected creature that harsh treatment had made him. But his spirit was roused at last. The cruel insult to his dead mother had set his blood on fire. His breast heaved. His attitude was erect, his eye bright and vivid. His whole person changed as he stood glaring over the cowardly tormentor who now lay crouching at his feet and defied him with an energy he had never known before. "He'll murder me," blubbered Noah. "Charlotte, missus, here's the new boy a-murdering of me. Help, help! Oliver's gone mad! Charlotte!" Noah's shouts were responded to by a loud scream from Charlotte, and a louder from Mrs. Sowerberry, the former of whom rushed into the kitchen by a side door, while the latter paused on the staircase till she was quite certain that it was consistent with the preservation of human life to come further down. "Oh, you little wretch!" screamed Charlotte, seizing Oliver with her utmost force, which was about equal to that of a moderately strong man in particularly good training. "Oh, you little ungrateful, murderous, horrid villain!" And between every syllable, Charlotte gave Oliver a blow with all her might, accompanying it with a scream, for the benefit of society. Charlotte's fist was by no means a light one, but lest it should not be effectual in calming Oliver's wrath, Mrs. Sowerberry plunged into the kitchen and assisted to hold him with one hand, while she scratched his face with the other. In this favorable position of affairs, Noah rose from the ground and pommeled him behind. This was rather too violent exercise to last long. When they were all wearied out, and could tear and beat no longer, they dragged Oliver, struggling and shouting, but nothing daunted, into the dust cellar and there locked him up. This being done, Mrs. Sowerberry sunk into a chair and burst into tears. "Bless her, she's going off," said Charlotte. "A glass of water, Noah, dear. Make haste." "Oh, Charlotte," said Mrs. Sowerberry, speaking as well as she could, through a deficiency of breath and a sufficiency of cold water, which Noah had poured over his head and shoulders. "Oh, Charlotte, what a mercy we have not all been murdered in our beds!" "Ah, mercy indeed, ma'am," was the reply. I only hope this'll teach master not to have any more of these dreadful creatures that are born to be murderers and robbers from their very cradle. Poor Noah, he was all but killed, ma'am, when I come in. Poor fellow," said Mrs. Sowerberry, looking piteously on the charity boy. And we'll go ahead and stop there for this week. As usual, I want to say thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe, as it greatly helps the channel. Light be with you all. Take care and thanks again.